Yet a time is coming, and it has now come. Everyone say, now come. We're going to come back to that. A time is coming and has now come when true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and truth. What does that mean? Look up here for a second. Jesus was saying Samaritans worship one way. Jews worship another way. The Jews think they're right in the way that they do it. The Samaritan thinks they're right in the way that they do it. He says, but it's all going to change. The time has come, and it now comes. And he was referring to himself. He was saying, the work that I have to do, the reason why I'm here is because I'm going to change the rules. It's not going to be about if you're a Jew or if you're a Samaritan. It's going to be about if you are a believer. And so he was telling her the message of salvation before he had even acted it out by hanging on the cross and raising from the grave. He was saying, it's all getting ready to change. But it's going to all change through me. It's all going to come through me. You know, you get a lot of folks a lot of times, and in a new church, you get folks coming from several different styles of churches. And they want to come check out Canvas, and that's great. We're excited about that. And we get visitors all of the time, and a lot of folks, you know, are part of our family, but a lot of folks are visitors sometimes, and they come from whatever their experience was in the background. For my wife, Suzette, it was a Catholic, a Spirit-filled Catholic background. And for me, it was a much more Assembly of God kind of a Pentecostal background that I have. And I know the stories of several folks in here, and it's just spread out all over the spectrum. You got folks who are used to worshiping quiet and still. We have folks who come from churches where instruments aren't even allowed at their church. Canvas is a change from that, I can promise you that. You have that folk. Then you have the other folks who really are used to hymnals and flipping to page number 347 and singing the first and third stanzas. And, you know, that's their background. Other folks in here, man, it's you get that band cranking and you just get worshiping God and you just get excited and it's whoop, whoop, whoop. And just people are boinging all over the place and just, you know, and you just go, what's happening around me and everything. But, you know, and that's how they worship. All of these different environments. Which one's right? What thing is right? Are the hymnals right? Yeah. Is the choir right? Yes. Is the tambourine and the drums, is that right? Is it reading it off of a screen? Is that right? Yes, yes. Is raising your hands right? Yes. Is crying sometimes right? Yes. What's right? We got a phone call months ago. And I don't even know if this person's here today or not. I don't know. But we got a phone call months ago from a visitor that I was talking to. And as I was talking with this visitor, you know, you can kind of tell where folks are at and what their thought processes are and everything. And I was talking with this visitor, and he goes, man, I liked it so much and everything. And he has a hesitation in his voice. And I'm, you know, just listening politely. And he goes, you know, but there was this one guy. And I said, what do you mean, one guy? He goes, there's this one guy, one of your guitar players. And he goes, your guitar player at a point in the service jumped in the air. I knew who he was talking about, but I wasn't giving this guy anything. I said, well, what do you mean? He goes, I just don't know. He goes, I thought I was at a rock concert, and I thought he was going to take his guitar and smash it on the ground and everything. And he goes, it just seemed like it was getting out of control. And I said, stop. Stop. And he goes, what? I said, stop. You and I both know he was not going to smash his guitar. I'm not a big guy, but don't mess with my boys. I said, you and I both know he was not going to smash his guitar, don't we? And he goes, yeah. He goes, I just thought it was a little bit. And I said, well, okay. The Bible says that the day is coming and now comes when worshipers will worship in spirit and in truth. Everyone say the word authenticity for me. He was saying, I want worship to not be about if you're on the mountain or if you're worshiping in the temple for the Jews. I want it to be from the heart, that if the expression of your worship to God might be just exploding like a volcano to where you're playing and you jump one time in a song because it's an authentic expression of your worship, And that's what God's heart is. And I said, sir, with all due respect, I said, I happen to know that man, and I've known him for a lot of years. And he is one of the most authentic and true worshipers that I've ever known. And I said, and more than me knowing that, God knows that. And I said, I believe with all of my heart that that expression, it might have been different than that gentleman's experience in the past. And I want to honor that. I'm not trying to take away from his experience saying it was wrong. But I'm saying it was different. But it was an honest and true expression of worship. And Jesus was saying to this woman, you've got your history, you've got your heritage, you've got your background, and that's good. He goes, but the day is coming where worshipers will worship in spirit and truth. And we said it last week, where all of the worshipers would come to one temple and drop off their worship and leave. Today, the worshipers are the temple. And when they come together and in their expressions of thankfulness for what God has done in their lives, when they worship together and come together in a praise and in a thankfulness of changed hearts and changed lives, we said it last week, worship becomes nuclear. It's an awesome, awesome thing. And Jesus was explaining this to this woman. Let's move on and we'll finish it with this real quick. We'll finish it with this. Jesus basically said, I'm glad that you brought that up. The rules are getting ready to change. The time is coming that through the Messiah, everyone will worship on an even playing field. Worship, true worship in spirit and truth, was going to happen in the heart and be expressed from the heart. It was going to be bigger than racial divides. It was going to be bigger than somebody's style. It was going to be bigger than the way we used to do it in the past. The expression might be different. God's looking for the authentic worship. And it all comes to this amazing, amazing punchline. Verse 25, look at this. This great punchline. In verse 25, it says this. The woman said, I know that Messiah, the Christ, is coming. Oh, look up here, watch. She knew her history. She was in a low spot in her life. But she knew the Messiah was coming. And there was a hope and there was an expectation. There was something going on. The Messiah was watching. She goes, the Messiah is coming, called Christ. And when he comes, he will explain everything to us. And I just think that's kind of funny. That she's talking about what's getting ready to happen, but he's right there in front of her. That all of a sudden he begins this conversation, this discourse across racial divides, and the very thing she ultimately, even if it was pushed way far back in her life, that she was hoping for was the Messiah to come and to clear it all up and to explain all these things to her. And the Bible says that Jesus went to her and he looked at her and he said, I who am speaking to you, I'm him. I'm him. Today, you thought it was just another Wednesday that you rolled out of bed to bypass the traffic of the gossiping ladies at 6 a.m. to get here at noon by yourself. But that wasn't the day, because the must inside of Jesus, the John 3:16 and 17 must of I have come to touch a life, even if it's one life of a woman at the well. That's the day you woke up to today. And there was something about his eyes. There was something about the way that Jesus looked at her. There was something about that moment where he says, the one who's speaking to you, I am him. I'm the Messiah. Today, heaven has come to earth in your life. And that well became, for her, a symbol of the cross in this reason. It was where God changed the life of humanity. I who speak this to you, I'm him. Just then his disciples returned, and they were surprised to find him talking with this woman. But no one asked, what do you want, or why are you talking with her? Watch this. Then leaving her water jar, the woman went back to the town. Everyone say the words, the town. She went back to the town. Now, freeze frame right there. It was the same.